You know what's weird is Raquel Welch having died yesterday and Burt Bacharach a week ago. The things they have in common. I was amazed that that generation of Hollywood star, they couldn't stop getting married.
Right.
Both of those people were married 4 times. You know, Mickey Rooney was married 8 times. It's like no one took them aside and said, you know what, you don't have to get married. It's not the law.
I'm always fascinated by people who get married 5 or 6 times. I'm just like, you're not that good at it. Maybe just
right.
live with somebody. It's fine. I think the whole stigmatism of living with somebody is so in the past. Like, just go ahead, shack up, baby. I mean, I know you want health benefits, but come on, man.
Burton and Taylor divorced and married again.
Exactly. I don't know
if
I'm saying that at all, but that was. Has
I've
anybody
got a sister, the middle child in my family. My siblings has been married 4 times.
Yeah, Affleck and J-Lo, weren't they a thing and then they became a thing again? I don't know if they were ever married though.
Yeah, I call it the Grover Cleveland Alexander effect, where you're president and then you're not president and then you're president again.
Oh, well, let's hope that's only a one-time deal.
If you think a little highbrow historical context for you. But with Burt, I'm not on a first name basis with the guy, but since we last spoke, I've been trying to come up with a posthumous product line for him, like a collection of his recording studio tantrums called Burt's Blurts, and then an album of songs that you didn't know Burt Bacharach wrote. For instance, I did not know this. The Beatles song off the second album, the one that was mysteriously released second in this country after Meet the Beatles, called Introducing the Beatles. There was a song called Baby It's You. Burt Bacharach wrote that.
I didn't know that.
So I was thinking of a collection of those entitled In Fact, It's Bacharach, for people who needed to be set straight.
It's all alliteration with you. I love it.
And also, we have a marijuana dispensary here that I think could use some Bacharach-y wacky tobacco.
Okay, well, that'll do too.
I've got all kinds of ideas.
Well, Bacharach to you, Bob. Bacharach to you.
Keeping Burt Bacharach's memory alive.
Yes.
Raquel Welch, 4-1, I noticed today. 4 marriages. Let's see, how does it go? 2 years on Broadway. Man, that's massive. When you're on Broadway in the same show for 2 years, you could be, Sir John Gielgud or something. And then let's see, what was the other thing? A Golden Globe.
Well, she appeared on Seinfeld. She
won a Golden Globe.
That was it for me when she was on Seinfeld, man. I knew she made it then. Yep. I mean, would you consider her a sex kitten? Was she a sex kitten in those days?
When she came out in the first thing for the Caveman movie, I was too young to care at that point. I think it didn't really have that much of an effect on me.
I guess the thing is, I thought she was very sexy, in her later years, as much as she was early on. I'm just saying that range of when you were a schoolboy versus when I was a schoolboy, she could have been in our fantasies.
She had a real dignity about her, though. She didn't want to be typecast as that, and she wanted to act, and she wanted to do physical stuff like Kansas City Bomber and Three Musketeers. She had some fight scenes.
Right.
She's going to be on the Cavett Show tonight on the Decades Channel. I can't believe that's an accident. Right. I got to believe that somebody at the Decades Channel said, let's start a Raquel Welch week, because I saw her a few months ago on Cavett, and her fellow guest was, I kid you not, Janis Joplin. So if you can imagine those two on the same stage at the same time, it's pretty crazy.
Well, I was thinking of like famous gals like that. Gina Lola Brigida died last month, and I'm like, Sophia Loren, watch yourself, because I couldn't believe she was still up and around.
That's the truth. If I'm Sophia Loren, I'm staying indoors.
And the other one I was thinking of is Jane Fonda, because she was in Barbarella, but she's also so political. So would you put her in that same, sexy gal type? Because she's still a looker, but She was
Yeah.
also a nun at one point.
See, I'm no one to ask. Recently, the subject came around to Nancy Pelosi, and I said I'd tap that. She's still very vital in her late 70s, early 80s.
But would you cross the aisle? Like, would a really attractive, say, red stater, would that do anything for you? Or that just,
I could not possibly do that. No, that would be like
would you
no.
put a bag over her political views?
Put a bag over her MAGA hat? No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, that's good. We're setting some ground rules. I like that.
Yeah. So
The other thing I
anyway,
wanted to say about the Super Bowl was just like, are you just,
yeah.
um, I mean, I don't know, you guys didn't really, the idea of they cut to a German stadium someplace while they're doing the tomahawk chop. It made me laugh to think, how close do German fans think this is to this?
Yeah, really.
Uh,
You know, we have no idea how much beer was flowing, and I wasn't focusing on that. I was focusing on the fact that there was an astonishing complacency on the part of one of the teams that was leading by 10 points at halftime.
yeah.
I still cannot believe it and will never forget how you can just lack the will to live after taking the field with a 10-point lead. I'll,
Mhm.
you know,
Well,
it's the lesson for me here is as a gambler, tease that spread. If I had teased that and bought 6 points for an extra 20 or 30 bucks per hundred,
yeah,
I would have won everything but the spread.
yeah.
Would
So
not have won the money line because I didn't win the game.
how did that work for you? You got in on those half bets, the
First
first half
half,
bets,
yeah.
but you didn't show off the final the final bets
Well,
at all.
it was on LinkedIn for a day, and then I decided better of it. I decided it looked like gloating.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
But
to have the foresight to go for a half and not the whole. That's kind of
well,
amazing.
I did the whole as well. I did all angles plus a couple of props, but
Oh,
only one on the halves. The lesson here is, as a hedge, tease the total. If I'd gotten 4 points, because I gave two,
okay.
if there's a 6 point swing the other way, I get four and I win the game.
I know. It's
And I
crazy.
just spend a little more. So let
Lesson to the
that be a
kiddies.
lesson to me. I'm spending so much money out there now that I have the Bell captain team offering to pick me up at the airport, offering to pick me up at the airport and take me back. That's
Well,
not exactly the kind of thing you want to point to with pride to your grandchildren.
yeah, you're right. No, I mean gambling is a blast when it works out. Like my World Cup bet was awesome, Bob. It's just like when
Yeah,
I vote for Argentina and I wasn't there to cash it in. I told you that I had to send it in. So
yeah, good.
I sent it to MGM and I waited patiently for the check to arrive in the mail. We
Did
have
it?
like a little email service that tells you when USPS is delivering something, and we saw something was coming from Vegas, and I thought that's got to be it. It was an unmarked envelope, no MGM written on it. It was just my name in the envelope window and Las Vegas. So I look, and there's nothing in the mailbox. I'm like, that's odd. So maybe it's the next day. They screw that up sometimes. Next day, nothing there. I talked to my neighbor across the street. He says, "Oh, Kel, I got something for you." And he comes and brings me the got delivered to the wrong address. I mean,
Unbelievable.
it's something. I tell you, the USPS is not what they used to be.
Did
But I
you
think it's
follow
all
the directions? Did you photocopy both sides and fill it out and
I
write
did.
mail pay on one side and send it
I,
in?
I did everything but send it uh, you know, FedEx or with the signature needed, a secure envelope, that type of thing. So,
Yeah.
but all's well that ends well. Got my money, and that's that. Just went to the wrong
Happy
address.
ending.
Yep, happy ending.
Excellent.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Marcella took the whole thing.
I don't know for a fact that now that Super Bowl's over, I mean, I noticed that a lot of handicapping shows are having subs taking vacations and whatnot. That's another thing that we might discuss is staying away from sports for a while, depending on how we perceive the audience to be.
Yeah,
I mean, if you want all white guys ages 35 to 54, which is the last demo that I tried to serve, and that's one thing. But if you want as many people as possible, a lot of women are bored with sports discussions. I mean, Mina Kimes likes it, but most women, I think, aren't into it. So,
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can go that direction. I'm just trying to think of things that you and I like that
right.
would be
I totally understand. I mean, but I think that if, like, I'm watching Tiger Woods right now at Riviera here locally, the pro tours in town. Unless Tiger Woods crashes another car or a major league team walks off in protest of the new rules,
of course. Oh yeah.
that something unusual would need to happen. The new
Yeah.
rules are going to be very interesting how those go down because I don't understand how in the world they agreed to adopt those new rules with a base the size of
A pizza box.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either. You're right. The minutia of sports, I could, the date, let's run down the scores. No, I don't want to do that. But you're right. If it's a headline type thing, I think we definitely, pay attention to it. But yeah, I
Think
say
about
we
the Super Bowl
yeah.
that closes the sports calendar until, let's say, World Series. I mean, what else is going on? NBA finals, NHL
Mhm.
finals. That's kind of into the weeds for most people, I think,
I think you're right. Yeah. Because the other thing is too, it's not like we're Minnesota only, we're not California only, we're all across the country. So we can't just talk Timberwolves or Lakers, it's just got to be,
I was about to bring that up. I sense that there's not, I could be totally wrong because I don't live there anymore, obviously, haven't for over 10 years, but I sense that there isn't a lot of enthusiasm for the Wolves.
it's an interesting thing. Somebody said, I don't know who it was, but said that the Wolves are fun and enjoyable when they're winning. When they're
Hmm.
not, nobody gives a damn.
Yeah.
So it's like it's bandwagon all the way. It's just, because I think the Wild definitely have their legion of fans that will always stand by them thick and thin. I think the Vikings the same way, maybe even the Twins, but the Wolves are just like love them or get out of town. That's the
What
way it
about the
is.
Wild?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some passionate. I think they're still Kurt. They're still selling out
Yeah, I
the
think so.
XL.
Yeah, they're even kind of slumping right now, and they're still
Yeah,
selling out. So
exactly. So
Kurt, you're a regular attendee of Wild's games?
no, it's
hmm,
just for me, it's on TV. But
I
Kurt,
I
mean, is Kurt go to games?
I don't go to games. I it's all stay at home. Everything's so convenient at being at home.
No.
I got a big
Hey,
old
what's this
stinky
about?
TV.
What's this about your sports network there in the Twin Cities? Bally Sports or somebody connected with them having financial problems, and there's some sort of threat that the televised games as you know them will no longer happen.
yeah, I just hear that with the soccer is getting a big soccer network. The MLS wants to have their own thing, and I think NHL wants to do it. I think every MLB, and I think if there's the slightest financial issue with a network like Bally's or whomever, I think people are trying to look for excuses to pull the plug and go out to something more national.
Yeah,
Would you
Yeah.
think, Kurt?
I think the Twins are trying to make a deal with MLB TV and make them the primary source. So we'll see how that works out.
I haven't heard of
So
anything
Kurt,
financial.
you don't go to any of the live major league level events in the Twin Cities?
Nope.
Wild Wolves or Twins?
Nope. Yeah, I'm trying to think. The last I went to a Twins game back like 5 years ago. That was the last time I went. Yeah, I've only been to the Target Field once. Given I've been, I've only been in the Twin Cities for like 6 months now. I've been living
Right.
all across the nations before this.
Right.
Bob,
So you weren't there when they have the open air hockey games at Target Field.
Yeah, I
Where
watched that on TV too. But yeah, when was that? Was about a year ago when that
yeah,
happened?
about a year ago, January.
Yeah, yeah, I watched that on TV.
like 20 below and
I knew a lot of people who went to that. It didn't look like fun at all.
No,
no, of course it's not. Did Kel tell you about our wild game that we went to against the Seattle Kraken?
no. Is there a tail there?
Yeah, I was amazed first of all at the Broadway level prices, and then you get in and take your seat, and you look around you and you realize, holy crap, where are these people getting all this money? you know, to pay for one hockey game. And then there's this militaristic edge to the whole thing where it's, you know, everybody's in uniform and we've got a real jittery visual of a bald eagle up on the scoreboard, and here comes the military presence and the singing of the national anthem. And I thought I was at a Trump rally, frankly. And then when the game starts, they pitch it upstairs to the moderators who they reminded me of the Cosby Kids in their heyday in the late 80s. We all know how much black people love hockey, right? And they're up there doing all the, you know, promotional stuff, the giveaways, and happy birthday to so and so. And I'm just going, this seems like a mixed message to me. I thought this was essentially a Canadian game, and this is the state of hockey and not hockey soul train.
Oh,
It was just a
oh, Bob,
really
we're gonna get
strange.
cards and letters. You know that.
It was a really strange spectacle to me.
Kurt, we
And
should,
also,
Kurt, let's
when they
put your address
score,
up there so you can direct all letters to Kurt.
Yeah.
when they score, they play the same damn song in celebration of the wild goal. They scored 6 goals that night. How'd you like to listen to the same? Let's say your favorite song is "Stairway to Heaven." Could you listen to it 6 times in a row in the span of 2 hours? Probably not.
He scores a goal and then he plays Stairway to Heaven.
Well,
I forget what the song was, but I'm
It was,
going,
it was
got to
Muskrat
stop
Love.
scoring.
I think it was Muskrat Love.
probably a Prince song. Prince song was popular. Let's get
No,
crazy,
it was-
something like that.
It was that Otis Day in the
Oh.
Night song from the Animal House. Let's get a little bit
That's right.
now. Yeah,
Oh,
Makes you want to shout.
make you want to
That
shout.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. It's like I feel like they should go twins on it, where like when a player comes up to bat, they go with the different. So a guy scores a goal, they go with their song and play that, you know, like. But again, that would take a lot of thought and effort. So
Winds are too loud too. I don't understand the need to go St. Paul Saints on a sophisticated major league audience and turn the volume up to Mach 11 and have people running around in between innings. And everything is just loud, man. And it's just not necessary. It's a Major League Baseball game. It's supposed to be long and quiet. You hear the crack of the bat, and those days are over.
how are your Dodgers? Don't you go to a lot of Dodgers games, don't you?
They're not my Dodgers anymore, effective with the most recent playoffs.
Oh, really?
That
Super team?
surrender to arch rival San Diego finally ended my relationship with the club. I'm an Angels fan now.
Well,
I'm really looking forward to
hallelujah.
opening
They
day
suck.
when Shohei Ohtani will be pitching the opening day.
Well,
If
I
he's
hear he
still an
might,
Angel by that time.
yeah, I hear he might be not long for that world. Trout is
Mhm.
trying to get him to. Wait, we said we weren't going to go down the sports rabbit hole, and here we are.
Oh, for goodness sake. What a hypocrite.
The ladies are leaving us.
Hey, let's go back to music then.
All right.
Since we last spoke, I put together a list of songs for an anthology album. This is probably the most politically correct thing I've ever come up with, but I probably owe you something politically correct after that Hockey Soul Train line.
Balance the
And
scale.
this is to capture an audience that I think has been left out, especially since I was a child, and that is the amputee audience. That you could rewrite songs like "I Want to Hold Your Hand," "I Want to Hold Your One Hand,"
Okay.
"Open Arm" by Journey instead of "Open Arms."
Okay. All
My
right.
I Adored You by Frankie Valli.
Okay.
People who are missing things, that's got to hurt their feelings when they hear songs by intact people.
Like your typical pirate.
Yes. Yes. Or veteran home from the war or something like that.
Of course.
I just think they should have songs of their own.
You think of these things and it touches your heart. I get it, Bob. You always are coming from a good place.
No, I think that's heartburn is what that is.
I'll get you those Tums.
Anything to keep my mind off of true crime like this Murdaugh trial, the guy who's on trial in Georgia or some southern state for for allegedly killing his wife and son for for insurance money. He bilked all of his clients, and then the final spot he needed money he needed to get himself, over the top was to kill them for the insurance. So that trial is ongoing. And then you've got the guy in Boston, suburban Boston, this smirking, strange, creepy guy who was who the authorities were wise to him because of these incriminating Google searches. One of which was how to get rid of a 115-pound body.
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine what his wife said to him or did to him that would cause him to react in that way. Let's go back to the Hollywood model. Just marry and divorce. Why flirt with prison? Because that's kept me in line. If I go to prison, I can't smoke or drink or gamble on sports. So I'm thinking
that's your biggest worries if you go to prison.
Well, that and the surplus of anal relations, which would be unwelcome. Which would be unwelcome. But I'm thinking 150. Your wife weighs 115 pounds, like a jockey or a gymnast, and you want to murder her and dismember her and scatter her parts across the state of Massachusetts?
Well, it's sad.
I mean, when you see these true crime stories, don't you wonder about the dimensions?
I watched the Murtaugh thing. They have a documentary. I think it was on HBO about that whole family deal, and it was just fast. The way he supposedly killed his son and his wife, and then arranged to have somebody else kill him. It was.
He did. He offered to be shot in the head.
Yes, for the insurance money. I don't think he's thinking this through. I mean,
the things people will do for money. Podcasting, there's a good example.
Well, I think if you're thinking money, you're going to get rich by this, Bob. Well, let's see.
What money?
I've told you this is free therapy for me. You guys can divide my share.
Oh, well, Kurt, you heard him. We have it on tape.
I save $200 in therapy every time we do this. So I go away feeling cleansed.
Do you see some attractive therapists often? Do you go in?
115 pounds. I'm kidding. Think of the possibilities, though, Kel, if we may speak frankly here, sexually. I mean, when I think of a 115-pound woman, the words shower curtain rod scream at me, or chandelier, or wheelbarrow, bathroom sink, bathroom counter, kitchen sink, kitchen counter.
You are a horny old man.
Options are
I'm the second coming of Sumner Redstone.
Oh man!
And then that new position called Hang Mike Pence, where there's a noose strictly for the asphyxiation set. You can't drop her.
You're all about swings, aren't you?
And then there's one last new position that I read about called Southern Baptists will think we're dancing. All of this is possible with a 115-pound woman, and why this man wanted to murder this treasure who keeps herself in shape. And she was a lovely woman. I don't know whether you saw pictures of her.
I did, but I'm sure you did.
A really attractive woman. It was in the news.
Okay.
What are your news sources these days? Where do you get your materials to riff on for the podcast? Is it the local papers or the local TV?
A lot of it is, probably what I watch on TV, documentaries and stuff, but also, like I get newsletters, a New York Times newsletter, and just kind of see the headlines. But yeah, I'm like that generation that doesn't go deep into articles. You read the headlines and you pick and choose the ones you want to read. Do you still read a newspaper?
Online, yeah, 5 or 6 of them, but I don't read it. I mean, I just look, like I say, I look at the headlines. If I want to investigate, I do some clicking, right?
Right.
So,
I don't know. I don't watch the 10 o'clock news anymore. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Why? Because you're asleep by that time?
Well, I don't know, or else I'm just watching. There's so much streamable content these days. How much regular television does a person watch? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, who has to be in front of the TV at 10 o'clock anyway? Anymore,
Right.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm all
Every
YouTube.
time I come to the Twin Cities, the anchors are all different, and I feel like I'm in, Muncie, Indiana, because I don't know any of those people. And the same thing actually with the national cable people. They won't stay put.
Right.
You've got Erin Burnett at 4 o'clock our time, then she comes back at 6 o'clock. I can't keep up with them. I need stability.
Well, when we were watching the Super Bowl and they had the local commercials and they'll show the local Fox News team doing this little, like they'll go to a commercial break and the news anchor will come out and do a little song and da 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 da, you know, that type of thing. And I just like, how idiotic is that? Do they think this makes them more, friendly and approachable because they're humming their theme song and they're
just like
Speaking
you
of
and
Fox, I don't mean to go back to sports with this after I said I wouldn't, but I don't think enough's been made of that cutaway shot on Fox's coverage of the Super Bowl. In the same compartment, they're the same executive suite, seated side by side. Elon Musk and Rupert Murdoch. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see
Oh,
that.
God,
I know.
that was too much to take.
I was reading something about Elon and how he has a Nepo cousin. What is that? A Nepo cousin, James Musk. Is that like an alter ego, or does he really have a cousin named James who works for him?
I had no idea. I know
Okay.
that one of the Murdoch children, I think, is named James. Those are Nepo babies for sure.
Okay.
That's a big term, though. I think you're.
I've come a long way.
No, I think you're holding out on us. You keep up with more news than you put on.
I'm more than a pretty face. I just remember
I think
back 20 years ago when we did this, I was just like, I mean, I still laugh at your jokes and that's pretty much all I do, but I like to bring a little something to the table once in a while.
Good. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
How about other media like what radio stations are you listening to? People ask me that. I just tell them traffic. I listen to traffic, because I've got to get around here.
I don't want to give any promotion to anybody, but I do listen to local sports stations morning show. Because they're just idiotic and they say stupid things like sometimes we say. So I guess it's just kind of fart jokes and wanting to swear but holding back, that type of thing. With a little
read magazines or books?
Yeah, I'm reading. I could right now. I'm reading. Let's see. Have you heard of this?
It's like New York Times book review. Kel Gradke, what are the books on your nightstand?
Have you read this one?
I've heard about it. You know what? I watched that show with my youngest for years.
I did too. I thought there's where I go as far as my peccadillos. I thought she was adorable, and I thought there was a show she did with a young Ariana Grande called Salmon Cat, and I thought that was as close to Laverne and Shirley as possible, and I loved it. And I'm not ashamed.
On
Jeanette McCurdy.
What was the name of the show, the more popular show that she did that people know her for?
Oh,
it wasn't Amanda Bynes. It was
no, it was.
I forget. Anyway, it was popular. It was it was right up there with the other Disney kids. You know, Selena Gomez and those.
Yeah, and it probably says on the back of the thing. I'm also reading a book by, remember Tom Davis from SNL days with Al Franken? It was the Franken Davis report.
Tom Davis is still alive?
No, but the book about 39 years of short-term memory loss. I picked that up someplace. So I got my bookshelf here.
Apropos of the last name Davis, somebody asked me, are you talking about anything of any import on your podcast? And I said, come on, man. I'm not Bob Davis in a van down by the river, shouting, howling at the moon. Of course we talk about stuff of import.
Speaking of Bob,
115-pound women.
Speaking of a van down by the river, Chris Farley would have been 59 years old today.
It's about my age
to me. Just like, I mean, he died in 1997, I think. I mean, my goodness, it's been such a while. Anyway, sorry to bring you down.
No, I think you're trying to lure me into telling you what it's like to pleasure a plus size woman.
I did see that in the blurb that you sent out, and I was like, where's he going with this? Because there's nobody who's going to
Try
respond.
to I try I try to inspire as I arouse. I always make sure to get water or vegetables or exercise in the sentences that I use during the tryst.
Oh, that's a great plan.
Because it's going to prolong their lives, I think. Plus size people deserve pleasure too. But sometimes I just have to throw up my hands and say, honey, I can't reach. I'm just a standard sized man and I can't get there.
You're just one man.
Because
You're not two.
you have what's known in the NHL as a lower body injury. You've got too much lower body and I can't get there.
Okay.
So
Nice.
so run off and lose 100 pounds and come back.
So, but I still can't believe you'd throw someone out of bed for, that sort of thing. I mean, you take all sizes, shapes, and sizes.
Remember
Don't
the
you,
actress Kathy Najimy? I think she was probably the most attractive overweight woman
well,
I know.
didn't you have a tryst with Cameron Manheim?
I did not tap that no. We had meetings. We had meetings
I thought it
about
was
a project.
meetings. That's what I always thought it was.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it came out, I think, this past week. This Prince Harry memoir,
Yeah, spare.
sparse about
Spare.
his huh?
It's spare, not
I thought
sparse.
it was I thought it was sparse. I thought it was
Get
his
your
battle with
bifocals checked. Sparse.
if you'll wait for it, I've got a punchline.
Oh,
I thought it was about his life with male pattern baldness, hence the title sparse. But it just came out in the past week that he was deflowered in his late teens by a heavy woman who took him out back of a pub and did him in a field.
you were taken out back of a pub once.
Even though if she knew that he was Prince Harry, she just fancied him, as they say in Britain. And she had a snoot full of stout, and she
What is it
tugged
called?
him back into a field behind the pub and had her way with him.
Yeah, or love in a what are they? What's the elevator? They call it a what do they call it in England?
Lift.
A lift.
A lift.
A
Yes,
lift.
love in a lift.
Yeah.
Love the
And
alliteration.
then to turn the tables, to return to square one, he winds up with a height weight proportionate woman and has children with her. I just think that's a really happy ending, despite the male pattern baldness. By the way, have you seen William? There's no hair there. All that is down the drain at Buckingham Palace or something.
Oh, it's a shame, really. Did you
Well,
watch The Crown or anything like that?
Oh, every episode is fantastic.
Yeah, so sad. I mean, the Diana story is just like so depressing. Yeah. I mean, it's already. I mean, the early seasons are very like uplifting and overcoming, and then by the end, it's just like one hit after the other. My goodness.
It didn't matter to me how fictional it was. It was really entertaining.
Yeah.
I have a favorite QE2. That would be Claire Foy.
Yes.
She was my favorite of all of them.
Would you rank them from 1 to 3?
Claire Foy, and then the others are a distant second and third.
Oh, jeez.
Can you imagine being Prince Charles and having Dominic West play you?
Yeah.
Wasn't that ludicrous?
I thought the same thing. I told Marcel, I said, I can't watch it anymore. He's making Charles look attractive, and Charles was not attractive.
Yeah. They should have added prosthetic ears.
No, and a prosthetic
Dominic
nose.
West to make him look more like Prince Charles, because
Yeah.
Prince Charles, was like Jughead. He was Dumbo.
Yeah. What was Dominic West? What's he famous for? The Wire?
The Wire, yeah.
Which I tell everybody I've seen, but I haven't seen one episode yet. But
there was a series called The Affair. Oh, you'll like The Wire. I think it's good. You know who got his start, or at least in my viewing history, is Idris Elba.
Yeah. Okay. Who also recently turned down James Bond, or says he doesn't want to do James Bond.
You know what? I don't care. I still call him Black Bond. Hey, look, there's Black Bond on that commercial.
This has been a very racial podcast. I'm gonna go sit over here
It's
for
a play
now.
on Gold Bond.
Okay.
Isn't there a product called Gold
Gold
Bond?
Bond powder, yes. Older
It
gentlemen tend
uses
to
to be
use it.
Black Bond. But what a great actor. He cuts up on those commercials, you know, with those families. I forget what the product is or the service, but he's just a fabulous actor. I mean, really, that's one of the real lives well lived in the entertainment community, if you ask me. I've never seen an episode of this Luther thing for Netflix that he does. I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on the Beeb and some other. I think there's this network, this streaming channel called Acorn. Might be worth your check. It's got all the latest British shows on it. It's very good.
Oh, sure, I've heard of that, and BritBox too.
BritBox. All right.
Yeah. Something I wanted to get off my chest, as if I haven't already, happened last night at a restaurant in Santa Monica. It was a delicious meal, but given the latest events where zanies get their hands on legally purchased guns, I look around me and there's only one way in and one way out. And in this day and time, that gives me pause. And it makes me want to take it up with the management of whatever restaurant it is. This door where it was situated would have been perfect for a metal detector. And I know that sounds extreme, but I think it's definitely preferable to having somebody walk in that door last night, which it would have been easy to do with the right weapon. In 20 seconds, he's mowed us all down
Right.
and ruined my
Right.
appetite.
That's why you always request having your back to the walls. You can see the doors like a mafia hitman or something like that.
Yeah. I want a table like Tony Soprano's where I can look up and go and end the series like that and make people wonder for years what happened.
Was this a Valentine's repast? Is it something where you were sitting out and enjoying a little meal for
It was,
Valentine's
as a matter
Day?
of fact, it was a Valentine's dinner, one day removed, and maybe I just watched too much news, but when people are walking into dorms and walking into grocery stores and just all of these soft target type places, just for the hell of it, because they feel aggrieved in some way, they want to take it out on somebody else. I really would rather not give my life so that that person can feel better about themselves before the police shoot them or before they shoot themselves.
Yeah. I had a very good stuffed meatball at the restaurant I went to.
Stuff with what?
I'm just teasing you. I'm just like, this is such a serious point. I just put a little levity into it. I'm sorry.
Back in the day, there would have been no need for it at the places where we hung out. That I think over there, near where you used to live, Old Country Buffet, uh, people, it would have been too much of a struggle to get to their feet and do any shooting.
Yeah, we have to doff our hats. I think Old Country Buffet is no more.
Really? How about Embers? Is there still an Embers?
Oh, nobody remembers the Embers.
Is there
Yeah.
still a Perkins?
Perkins still is going strong. There's a few good ones out there, so we frequent that once in a while.
I mean, if there's no Perkins, who's going to wave all those enormous flags? Those enormous American flags. I never understood that. What was that about? Is
I
that for
don't know,
people
but
who
they're
forget the
they're
country they
huge.
live in?
Yeah, I think they're now using them as large tents for the homeless community.
Okay.
No, I don't. I have no idea. But they're
American flag lapels. I've never used one. That's a creature of 9/11, you know. I saw George Santos the other day with something on his lapel that was the likeness of an assault weapon. He's one of these, you know, NRA guys.
Do you think he's going to last?
Why not? Well, what are they going to do?
I know, but
McCarthy needs to go.
every headline I read says they're getting a group together to oust him, or he has nobody on this side of the aisle, nobody on this side of the aisle likes him. They all want him. People want to vote him out. I don't know. I just like, okay, but he's still around.
No one's taking any action.
Yeah.
Probably won't.
All of your jobs, guys, that you've had in your life, how would you like to have almost 2 years to figure out which way your career is going to go? Because to me, that's what he's got. He knows he's not going to be reelected. People back home are too upset with him.
Mhm.
He has almost 2 years to figure out whether he's going to be a full-time fraudster, fleecer, what have you, or go legit. But I've never seen such bad publicity for one person in as short a time as this guy.
Right. But it's almost like bad publicity for him is what they say. Any publicity is good publicity. I mean, I don't know, whatever he thinks he's going to do, he probably is so oblivious. He thinks he's going to move on to bigger and better
Not just
things.
oblivious, but aggressive. Did you see the way he was sniping at Mitt Romney on the night of the State of the Union address?
He's not scared of anybody, obviously.
No, he's not. He's right out there in your face.
Yeah. And he's also a cross-dresser, correct?
He says he's not a drag queen, but I saw a picture of the man in drag. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I've seen Giuliani in drag too, so who can say?
When was that? I forgot about that. When was Giuliani in drag? That
Was it
would
an
have been
SNL bit?
It was a bit with Trump, and I can't remember how far up, like a dozen years ago, something like that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's another guy that's just like going from the top of the world to the bottom. It's amazing. He with 9/11 and where he was to where he is now. Just a butt of a joke. Hilarious.
The Times would not publish my reader comment about his chief competitor. It was an article about DeSantis, and I wrote into the Times and I said, I guess you know that the last time we saw a guy like this, he was hanging upside down at an Italian service station after being killed by a mob. So I said, I hope that all civilized people are hoping that history repeats itself. DeSantis is dangerous. I mean, he's coming after your kids' libraries. He's coming after your drag queens. He's coming after your black studies.
After your theme parks.
Yeah.
I mean,
and unlike Trump, he's got some brains.
Yeah. And he's got the slinky wife. I'll bet she doesn't weigh a pound over 115.
Full circle.
Kurt, do I detect that you're looking at the clock that you're telling
No,
us?
I have a second screen over here, and I keep looking over to it.
Because if you want to get the hook, I'm totally prepared to be hooked.
I'm just gonna let you guys ramble until you're done.
Okay. How about this? Let me ask the two of you this, and then I'll give you my version. What are you looking forward to? I get asked all the time, what's the secret to your longevity, Mr. Yates? I say, what's the secret to your... They say it into my good ear. And I tell them, always have something to look forward to. So what do you have to look forward to in the coming days and weeks, other than these podcasts? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I got vacation in a couple of weeks. I'm going on spring break. So
are you at liberty to divulge where that is?
The Dominican Republic someplace.
Whoa.
Yeah, never been south of the border, so I'm looking forward to it.
You have to organize an insurrection while you're down there. Those governments are ready to fall at a moment's notice.
Oh, I don't plan on leaving the compound.
Is this one of those sandals places? Is this strictly for mom and dad?
Yeah, hedonistic. That's what it is. No, we're bringing everybody. Bobby. No, we're bringing the kids. It's actually a kid, it's not a kids resort, but it's definitely an all-inclusive place, and just gonna chill out. And this white boy who doesn't tan very well is going to give his all and slather a bunch of
nice
high SPF
warm weather rum punch.
Yeah,
and, whatever the national music.
Huh? Is there any gambling? Can you do any gambling down there?
Why not? When I think of Dominican Republic, I think of Godfather 2. Those scenes in Cuba. Anything goes. Good for you.
Have you been?
No.
Okay. Texas is as far south as you go.
Let me think. I've been to Jamaica. Okay. I've been to Aruba.
Okay. Aruba, Jamaica.
I've never been, huh?
Isn't that I've never been to Spain? Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I'm gonna make a or something like that.
That's Beach Boys, right?
Yes. Kokomo.
Yeah. I've never been to Spain 3 Dog Night, but I've never been to Dominican Republic either. So take some pictures. And you know what? Devote an edition of the podcast to your vacation pictures. I know people would be dying to see those.
And you want to see some pictures of us in the boudoir too, I suppose. You little.
Oh, for next time, I want to tell you about my involvement with. I can't believe I thought I could get it out with a straight face. I want to talk about my involvement with Pornhub.
Are you serious?
It's not an involvement. It's just that I've become fans of certain performers, and I like to check in with their latest exploits.
Well, what about OnlyFans? I'm sure you've read up a lot on that.
I've heard and read about it. I've never gone there. And to tell you the truth, I don't know how I wound up on Pornhub, but it's
That journey would have had
somewhat
to been
addicting.
amazing, I imagine. How Bobby found online porn. I think that would just be a tremendous story.
I've come a long way since sneaking in with other teenagers to the Capri Theater in Fort Worth. The first time I saw a naked woman on the screen, I actually pointed. Hey, look at that! And guys jumped all over my arm. No, don't point. Be quiet. Act like act like you've been somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure this is going to attract non-white males, this podcast.
It's really, it doesn't have to be harmful. As a matter of fact, my favorite performer is very romantic. And he treats his partners with dignity, doesn't slap them around. He's very
Gentlemanly.
courteous. Courteous.
Gentlemanly.
Exactly. Courtly and gentlemanly. He really is. And I haven't seen him, I haven't seen a dissatisfied customer crawl away yet.
Are you at liberty to share his name? Or is this part
Brad Newman.
Brad, that's a great name. That's a great poor name.
the guy next door? Brad Newman?
See, that can't be a made-up name. That has to be the guy's name. And the way to remember that, remember when Seinfeld used to go, Newman?
Yes.
That's how you remember that, yeah. And he's so versatile. He's great with a one-on-one or a one-on-two. Here's the deal. I admire the athleticism. It's nostalgic for me. I'm in the position of Jack Warden, looking down from the banister, watching Ryan O'Neal pile this Italian chick on the couch in a movie called So Fine. Did you see that movie called So Fine? It was horrible.
No, I saw. Oh, it was horrible. Okay, no, I took you up on the Ryan O'Neal other Paper Moon I saw, but I have not seen that Ryan O'Neal movie.
Part of the plot had to do with pants that Prince later made famous, or briefly famous, with the clear like plastic hips to the pants.
Oh yeah, the plastic butt.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, that played a role in So Fine, and so Ryan O'Neal, for whatever reason, is getting busy with this Italian girl on the couch, and upstairs, Jack Warden, still very crusty, even though that was like 40 years ago. He's watching this go on with the guy next to him, and Jack Warden says, "You know what? I used to fuck like that." That's the position. That's the position I'm in. That's why Pornhub is nostalgic for me, and I admire the athleticism. It's totally PG for me.
There's been there, done that.
Huh?
Been there, done that. Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
There's no erotic charge. I am post-pleasure menopausal, man. I'm just in it for the nostalgia.
Yes.
I promise you.
Well,
it's free.
Go watch some more Randy Newman.
It's not Randy Newman.
Oh.
Brad.
Brad Newman.
Oh,
Randy Newman. Somebody said to me the other day, "Oh, really? Who's your favorite?" And I mistakenly said Brad Sherman. The guy says, "Brad Sherman? Isn't he our U.S. representative?" And I go, "Oh, yeah, that's the congressman. Please forget I said that. We don't want, ugly rumors going around about Brad Sherman."
Yeah, and Randy Newman saying short people. I got it.
And Randy Newman is getting on up into the years, too. I have a feeling that we're going to lose somebody big this year. It could be me, but I just think that a lot of these people are on their last legs. Randy Newman, Jack Nicholson hasn't been seen in a long time. Joni Mitchell is improving, but still,
right.
Peaked, feeling punk.
Do we dare play? Do we play that gambling card? Do you want to make some Benson, who's going to
No,
be the
no.
next celebrity to go? No.
We shouldn't circulate odds on the celebrity deaths. Hey, speaking of music, Kirk, Kurt, I don't know why I keep calling you Kirk. What is the
Her cousins.
Sousa music, the public domain music that you're thinking about using for this?
I just came up with a Sousa March. I forgot the name of it, but it'd be a Sousa March is good enough for Monty Python. I thought it'd be good enough for us. So
Oh, so it's not the one that goes da 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 da.
no, not that one. I don't know if that's Sousa. I think our cutoff is 1927. So any of his stuff before 1927, I think, is in the public domain.
So that song on Monty Python was a Sousa March?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. I had no idea. No idea.
It's a great song. So yeah, something that brings about that kind of feeling would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we didn't get an answer from Kurt as to what he's looking forward to.
Well, I got the new house. All my projects are I'm doing home improvement. This house is a project, so it's going to be all projects with the house. So
By project, do you mean Money Pit?
kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Although it seems like every house project I take on, I tend to come up in the black. So yeah, it tends to
In
work
there.
out.
Bob,
Been
have you
there.
done a lot of do-it-yourself?
As much as I can. I mean, I just had an electrical project done, and it required a permit and pros to come in and do it. So that's the way I went with that one. I put in a new panel above my pay grade, so
Yeah.
I didn't do that. So I'm doing.
I like to do a few
I'm
once in a
looking forward
while.
to.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to visiting Irv's Burgers tomorrow. Anybody who wants to find out more can go to the LA Times, which published a piece this week about Irv's Burgers of West Hollywood, IRV''S. They have a double cheeseburger that is the closest to the one made for the movie The Menu. Have you seen the movie The Menu?
No.
Okay. That's the one with Ray Fiennes as the maniacal chef.
Yeah.
And
thought
the
that's
cheeseburger that they make that fuels one of the scenes, they make at Irv's Burgers. So I'm putting in my order tomorrow morning and going over to pick one up. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. I hope the best, man. Quit eating that red meat, man. You're gonna.
You know what? They have a Beyond Burger too. Everybody has an Impossible or a Beyond Burger, don't you think? Haven't you seen that on menus?
Do you like Beyond Meat? Or whatever it's
Absolutely.
called? All right.
Absolutely.
Try
After
it,
enough
burger.
alcohol, you can fool my taste buds easily. You know? So, as a great man once said, Dubé, I'm done talking.
Yeah, I think that's about rap, guys. But it was a
You
good
remember
one
that?
today.
Do you remember that scene
Oh.
at the fan where the
Oh,
drunk guy says, Dubé, I'm done talking. I can't believe that didn't wind up on t-shirts. Dubé, I'm
There's-
done talking.
that's what they're still doing. They're still putting every catchphrase on a T-shirt and selling like hotcakes. Did you ever do that in your state fair radio days? Did you ever sell a T-shirt with your image or words of wisdom on it?
If there were no, there were posters. I would be asked to sign
Like Leif
posters, and I
Garrett?
would say, usually it was for a mommy who was a fan, and I would write, "Let's take a shower," and I would wind up with some extra Marlboro shorts, and I'd hand them out to the children.
I had a Bob Yates.
The other day, huh?
I had a Bob Yates shirt at one time. I think you mailed it
Did
to
you
me.
really?
And I
Worth a lot of money.
I don't have it anymore, but
Oh,
I wish I could
Collector's
know what
item.
was on it.
that's what I think.
But you did
I
have a
told
shirt.
somebody a true story, a true anecdote from Taste of Minnesota. That may have been with you, Kel. If not, maybe it was KSTP before that. But it was a really hot day on the front grounds of the state capitol where they would have the Taste of Minnesota, right, with all the bands and stuff. And we were really sweltering. We were, we were keening. It was so hot. And we got the permission of the people at home base in Maplewood to drink. There was no water around. We had to drink beer. So we were allowed to drink beer while we did the broadcast. So you
Ooh,
can imagine what kind of chaos that caused.
we should probably be drinking now. I imagine it's happy hour someplace.
Let's see, what time do I have? 30 minutes to cocktail hour here.
Do you like have a limit? I mean, do you like say I can't start until this time? I can't drink at this time, or I can't imagine you do.
I consider this real discipline when I can wait until 5 o'clock, and then I hold myself to two Diet Coke and vodkas,
Okay.
and then I might have a hazy IPA afterward, just as kind of a palate cleanser, and then off to bed.
Off to La La Land. So
Yeah,
yeah, we did a trip up to Duluth, and I had a couple of shots of Irish whiskey, and boy, that went down nice.
you know what? I got to get a bottle of that thing you had in of that tequila you had in Vegas.
It was
What was it called?
good.
Don Julio
Yeah,
1942.
yeah. You get it, and the next time we come out to California, we'll do it upright.
Well, it's like it's very expensive. It's like, 80 bucks for a small bottle, 200 for one of those triangular things.
Yes.
Not
So
that money is any object for me, but you know what I'm saying.
I know, I know.
All right.
It was in Vegas, and it was flowing nicely. So
Well, that was your 50th birthday. No
that
wonder.
was it was.
Yeah, I think by law you should be required to celebrate that a 50th birthday that way.
It
But
was.
that is the law in Nevada.
I think you're right.
All right.
Yeah, I think are we good then, guys? Should we
Yes.
wrap her
Thanks
up?
for putting up with me, and go ahead and divert all of the negative mail and email to me, and we'll answer it next podcast.
And then yeah, fan mail. We got to bring that back, Dave Letterman.
I thank you. Bob Dylan
Bye.
behind me thanks you. And so long for now.
Bye-bye.
Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.